Welcome back to Valuable Coins, the channel where we dive into the history, significance, and value of rare and collectible coins. In today's video, we'll explore incredible coins from the famous Abraham Lincoln Wheat Cent series. These coins are not only fascinating due to their historical context and design features, but also hold immense value in the modern market. Let's dive into the first coin, a rare and valuable piece from the 1935 Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent series. This particular coin, although damaged with a lamination flaw and exhibiting signs of rust, is still a highly coveted piece among collectors. The 1935 Wheat 1 cent is part of a series that was issued by the United States Mint from 1909 to 1958, with Abraham Lincoln's portrait featured on the obverse and 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, who also designed the iconic Lincoln Memorial. The obverse features a facing profile of Abraham Lincoln, and the reverse showcases 2 stalks of wheat with the words E pluribus unum and 1 cent inscribed. The overall design of the wheat cent has remained relatively consistent throughout the years, and it is considered one of the most recognizable American coins of the 20th century. The 1935 year marks a significant period in the history of the United States, as the country was recovering from the Great Depression. The coin was struck in a time of economic uncertainty, which adds an element of historical value to the piece. During this time, coins were minted in large quantities to meet the demands of daily commerce, but not all of them were preserved in perfect condition. Over time, as these coins circulated, many were subject to wear and tear, leaving us with only a small number of well-preserved examples today. Now, this particular coin, the 1935 wheat cent, stands out due to its significant damage, including a lamination flaw. A lamination flaw occurs during the minting process when there is an imperfection in the metal strip used to strike the coin, causing the surface to peel or bubble. This type of error is not extremely common, which makes coins with such flaws particularly valuable to collectors. Furthermore, this coin also shows signs of rust, which gives it a unique and distinct appearance, further driving its value. Despite its damage, this coin is a prime example of how rarity, historical context, and collector interest can elevate the value of a coin. The 1935 wheat cent, in its current condition, may fetch a staggering $10,000 or more at auction. The value of this coin is largely driven by its rarity and the fact that it has survived the test of time in a damaged state. Collectors and investors alike recognize the potential of such coins, especially those with unique errors like this one. Coins like this are incredibly sought after in the auction market because they represent a piece of history that is no longer being made. With the increasing interest in error coins, many collectors are willing to pay a premium for a coin with such a distinctive flaw. Additionally, coins like this one are prized for their historical significance, as they serve as a reminder of the economic struggles and triumphs of the United States during the Great Depression. The 1935 wheat cent, with lamination and rust damage, is a perfect example of how a damaged coin can command a substantial amount of money, provided that the rarity of the error and the collector demand align. These coins are often sought after by those who specialize in error coins, and the high auction prices reflect the ever-growing interest in these types of collectibles. The market for such coins continues to grow, and with each passing year, the value of rare and damaged coins like this one only increases. Now, let's move on to our second coin in today's video, the 1942 large-date Abraham Lincoln Wheat Cent without a mint mark. This coin is a beautiful example of the craftsmanship and design features that make the Wheat Cent series so beloved by collectors. The 1942 Lincoln Wheat Cent was produced during a crucial time in American history. The United States had entered World War II, and the coin was minted at a time when the country was facing tremendous challenges both domestically and abroad. The coin's design, like all wheat cents, features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse, which symbolizes the nation's agrarian roots. The 1942 Lincoln cent was struck in large quantities, and it was widely circulated across the country as part of the U.S. government's effort to provide small denominations for everyday transactions. However, the 1942 Lincoln Wheat Cent is notable for its large date variation. The large date version of the coin was created due to an intentional change in the die used to strike the coin, which resulted in the numerals of the date appearing larger and more spaced out than those on the small date version. While both the large date and small date versions are valuable to collectors, the large date variety is generally considered the more common of the two. Despite this, there are still significant collectors' markets for both, and rare examples in high condition are always in demand. The 1942 large date Lincoln wheat cent without a mint mark is another example of a coin that holds considerable value in the modern collector's market. The coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark for coins produced there. This is why the absence of a mint mark is not unusual for coins from this era, but it is an important detail to note for those examining the coin's authenticity and provenance. The coin's value today, in its fine condition, could reach up to $300,000 or more at auction, especially if it is well preserved and has a low mintage number. Although the mintage for the 1942 large date Lincoln wheat cent is high compared to some other years in the series, its historical significance and the popularity of the wheat cent series have driven up the market value for well-preserved coins. The 1942 Lincoln wheat cent represents a time when the United States was in the midst of World War II, and it is a reminder of how the country's economy and its citizens were impacted by the war effort. Collectors are particularly interested in this coin for its connection to a pivotal moment in American history. The 1942 year saw a change in the economy, with the production of war materials taking precedence over civilian goods, and the United States entered a period of great industrial expansion. Coins from this time carry an additional layer of historical significance, as they were used by people who were living through these significant changes. One of the most notable aspects of the 1942 large date Lincoln wheat cent is the fine condition in which it has survived. Coins that are well preserved and maintain their original features are highly sought after by collectors, and this particular coin is no exception. The fine condition of this piece means that the design is still crisp and the details of Abraham Lincoln's profile, as well as the wheat stalks on the reverse, are easily discernible. The coin's color and luster are also important factors in determining its value. While this coin is not as rare as some of the other more limited mintage examples in the wheat cent series, its value remains strong due to the consistent demand for Lincoln wheat cents, particularly those from the 1940s. The value of the 1942 large date Lincoln wheat cent could continue to rise as interest in these coins grows, and as fewer high-quality examples remain in circulation. Next up, the 1957 large date Lincoln wheat cent is one of the most iconic and sought-after coins in the United States. While most Lincoln pennies from the mid-20th century are relatively common, the 1957 edition stands out for its historical significance, its minting quirks, and the impact it had on coin collectors at the time of release. The 1957 wheat cent, in particular, is one of the later issues in the Lincoln wheat cent series, which began in 1909 and ended in 1958. This makes it a transitional piece, marking the final years of the series before the introduction of the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. In terms of design, the 1957 wheat cent follows the standard Lincoln cent design, which features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, created by sculptor Victor David Brenner. On the reverse side, the coin displays two stalks of wheat on either side of the phrase 1 cent, reflecting the agricultural roots of the United States and the era in which Lincoln served. The design of the wheat cent was a tribute to Lincoln's humble beginnings as a farmer and symbolizes his connection to the American people. But what makes the 1957 large date without mint mark so valuable in today's market, even in a dirty condition? The answer lies in the historical context and the rarity of the coin in certain conditions. The 1957 coin saw a large mintage, but most of the coins produced in that year were circulated heavily, leading to wear and tear that obscured their original detail. The 1957 coin is commonly found in circulated conditions, but when you find one in a dirty or aged state, where the coin has accumulated dirt or oxidation over time, it presents a unique challenge for collectors. In dirty condition, this particular coin is much rarer, as the dirt and grime might obscure some of its original details, making it harder to assess its true value at first glance. However, despite the surface grime, collectors value this coin for its inherent rarity and the potential to be cleaned and restored into a more pristine state. A coin like this is valuable because it represents a piece of American history that has been preserved despite its deterioration over time. The rarity of this condition, combined with its status as one of the last Lincoln wheat cents, makes it highly desirable in auctions, even with dirt or oxidation. Collectors are particularly drawn to the 1957 large date without mint mark, in dirty condition due to its scarcity and the fact that many of the coins from this period were not preserved properly, with most being melted down or discarded over the years. A coin in this condition, especially when it can be restored to a higher grade, can see auction prices soaring as high as $90,000 or more, especially if it has a significant provenance or is part of a high-profile collection. Its rarity, combined with the potential for restoration, makes this coin a treasure for enthusiasts of the Lincoln wheat cent series. The mintage of the 1957 Lincoln cent was over $1 billion, but the large date variety, which this coin falls under, is less common than the small date variety. This adds a layer of rarity to the coin and contributes to its higher value. The difference between the large date and small date can be difficult to detect, but it is crucial for collectors to identify the correct variety. The large date variety has a distinctively larger numeral 7 in the date, which is a noticeable feature for anyone familiar with the differences between the two types. The market for this coin in dirty condition has seen huge increases, primarily driven by the growing interest in the Lincoln wheat cent series, as well as the increased desire for coins that are unique or hold a special place in numismatic history. As time goes on, coins from this period only become rarer, and those in any condition, even dirty or worn, continue to rise in value, especially as fewer of these coins remain in circulation. The 1957 large date, without mint mark, in particular, is a sought-after treasure for those looking to complete a set of Lincoln wheat cents or invest in a historically significant coin. Moving on to the next coin on our list, we turn our attention to the 1951 large date Lincoln wheat cent with D mint mark, in what can only be described as a red rusty condition. This coin holds a unique position in the collector's market, and its value is heavily influenced by a combination of factors: its historical importance, the distinctive features of the coin's design, and the specific condition in which it exists. The 1951 large date Lincoln cent is part of the post-World War II era, a period in U.S. history where coins were being heavily circulated due to the economic boom of the 1940s and early 1950s. The coin itself follows the same design as the other Lincoln wheat cents, with the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the two wheat stalks on the reverse. The 1951 coin is of particular interest to collectors because of the presence of the D mint mark, which indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The presence of a mint mark differentiates this coin from the similar 1951 large date coins minted in Philadelphia, making it more desirable for collectors looking for variation in their sets. Now, let's talk about the significance of the red rusty condition. A coin in this state typically shows signs of oxidation, where the coin has developed a reddish-brown patina, sometimes even leading to the appearance of rust-like spots. The condition, while not ideal, adds to the coin's character and history. A red rusty 1951 Lincoln cent with the D mint mark is a rare find because such coins, even with significant oxidation, are sought after for their uniqueness. The rust or red coloration on the coin is usually a result of improper storage or prolonged exposure to moisture, both of which can create a unique look and surface texture on the coin. In terms of its value, coins in red rusty condition tend to be undervalued when compared to those in pristine or uncirculated grades. However, this particular 1951 large date with D mint mark has a market value that can push it well beyond the typical expectations for a coin in this condition. A piece like this could fetch around $150,000 at auction, given the rarity of the rust coloration combined with its status as a Denver minted coin. The historical context of the 1951 coin also plays a role in its value. After the end of World War II, The U.S. economy was booming, and coins from this period reflect the economic growth of the time. The 1951 large date. With D-Mint mark coin is one of the last major issues before the mint began making substantial changes to the design of coins in the following decade, with the introduction of the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. This gives the coin additional historical significance, as it marks the end of an era for the Lincoln wheat cent series. The coin's design features are standard, but they are still integral to its appeal. The obverse features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse features the wheat stalks, representing the agricultural roots of the United States. The 1951 coin, in particular, holds a special place in the hearts of collectors because of its status as a late entry in the series. The large date variation is important to collectors as well, as it distinguishes the coin from its small date counterpart. The market for coins like the 1951 large date with D-Mint mark in red rusty condition has seen huge interest from collectors who specialize in rare and unique coins. The combination of the coin's design, its minting location, and its condition creates a perfect storm of value. And as more collectors look for coins that are rare and one of a kind, the prices continue to soar. Next up, the 1952 large date with D-Mint mark is a remarkable example of how seemingly modest coins can hold enormous value in the collector's world. Let's first talk about the historical context surrounding this coin. Released in 1952, this coin was part of the long-running Abraham Lincoln wheat cent series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. The series itself is one of the most iconic in American numismatic history, celebrating the life and legacy of President Abraham Lincoln. However, the 1952 coin stands out due to a combination of factors that make it rare and highly sought after by collectors. During the 1950s, the United States economy was growing rapidly, and the coinage used in everyday transactions saw heavy circulation. The 1952 Lincoln wheat cent was no exception. As a result, millions of these coins were minted by the Denver Mint, but the real rarity lies in the specific large date variety, particularly the one that carries the D-Mint mark. The mint mark indicates that these coins were struck at the Denver Mint, and they are particularly prized among collectors for a variety of reasons, including the distinctive size of the date and the die used to strike the coins. Now, let's talk about the design features. The obverse of the 1952 Lincoln wheat cent showcases a classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This portrait has remained unchanged since 1909 and is one of the most recognizable depictions of any president in U.S. coinage. What makes the 1952 version unique, however, is the positioning and clarity of the date. The large date variety is distinguished by the size and spacing of the numbers, which sets it apart from other coins in the series. The reverse side of the coin features the iconic wheat ears design, also created by Brenner, which was meant to symbolize America's agricultural heritage. This reverse design is the hallmark of the entire series, and it remains a symbol of prosperity and national pride. When it comes to market value, this coin is one of the most significant finds for collectors. The 1952 Lincoln wheat cent large date with D-Mint mark in circulated condition can fetch impressive sums at auction, with prices often reaching well over $100,000 depending on the level of wear and the coin's overall quality. The reason for this astronomical value lies in the scarcity of high-quality examples in circulation. Most coins of this vintage show signs of wear, and finding a well-preserved specimen is incredibly rare. Even a coin in average circulated condition can command substantial sums due to its rarity and the collector demand for it. What sets this coin apart from others is not just its age or the historical significance of Abraham Lincoln, but the fact that this coin is part of a series that includes other rare and highly coveted varieties. The 1952 large date with D-Mint mark was produced in much lower quantities compared to other years, making it even more desirable to collectors who are looking to complete their sets. Moreover, the fact that this coin was used heavily in daily transactions during the 1950s means that finding one in good condition, let alone pristine condition, is a rare feat. The unique combination of its historical importance, its design elements, and its relative rarity make this coin a true gem in the world of numismatics. In terms of error coins, the 1952 large date with D mint mark does have a few variations and subtle errors that add to its appeal. Some coins from this year exhibit a slight doubling of the date or the letters in the inscription, which is a form of die error. These types of errors can significantly increase the value of the coin, as collectors eagerly seek out rare variations to add to their collections. Additionally, there are instances where the mint mark on some of these coins is either weakly struck or misplaced, leading to further variations that can also affect the value. So, to sum up, the 1952 large date with D mint mark Lincoln wheat cent is not just another coin from the 1950s. It's a rare and valuable piece of history that has stood the test of time. Whether you're a collector looking for that perfect addition to your Lincoln wheat cent collection or simply an investor looking for a valuable asset, this coin is undoubtedly one to watch. Next up, the 1950 Lincoln wheat cent is another pivotal coin in the history of American currency. Released during the post-World War II era, the 1950 coin was produced in massive quantities as part of the ongoing series that featured Abraham Lincoln. However, unlike its 1952 counterpart, the 1950 coin carries a significant historical weight and plays an essential role in the larger narrative of the series. The 1950 Lincoln wheat cent without mint mark is a coin that captures the essence of the post-war boom. The United States was experiencing a period of prosperity and expansion, and the demand for coins was as high as ever. The 1950 coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it does not bear a mint mark, a typical characteristic of coins produced there. This coin is notable for its relatively high mintage numbers, which made it more common in circulation. Despite its abundance at the time, however, the 1950 Lincoln wheat cent remains an important piece of American numismatic history, and its value has increased significantly over the years, especially in higher grades. The design of the 1950 Lincoln wheat cent follows the same pattern as its predecessors in the series. On the obverse, you'll find a detailed portrait of President Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The portrait, which has become an iconic representation of Lincoln, is one of the most enduring images on U.S. currency. On the reverse, the wheat stalks symbolize the agricultural backbone of the nation, a fitting tribute to the nation's history and economy at the time. When it comes to market value, the 1950 Lincoln wheat cent without mint mark, in good condition, can command significant sums in today's auction market. While this coin is not as rare as some of the other editions, its historical importance and high collector demand ensure that it remains a valuable piece. Depending on the condition, this coin can fetch anywhere from several hundred to several $1,000s, with the most well-preserved examples reaching upwards of $80,000 in some cases. The main appeal of the 1950 Lincoln wheat cent without mint mark lies in its historical context. It represents the time period following World War II, a time when the United States was transitioning into a new era of global influence and prosperity. As such, the coin serves as a snapshot of that transformative period. Additionally, the absence of a mint mark on the coin makes it a desirable variety for collectors who focus on minting anomalies, or those trying to complete a set of Lincoln wheat cents from different mints. Like the 1952 version, the 1950 Lincoln wheat cent also has its fair share of errors and variations. Some of these errors include doubled dies or slight die cracks that can be found on the obverse or reverse. These errors, while relatively minor, can add substantial value to the coin, especially if they are unique or particularly noticeable. Additionally, the wear and tear from daily circulation mean that finding a coin in good or excellent condition is rare, and this rarity drives the market value. Collectors are particularly interested in finding coins that exhibit unusual characteristics or imperfections, as these make the coins more unique and desirable. As with many coins from the 1940s and 1950s, the 1950 Lincoln wheat cent has become a sought-after piece among numismatists looking to diversify their collections or invest in high-quality, rare specimens. In conclusion, the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Cent without mint mark is a fascinating coin with significant historical context. While it may not be the rarest or most elusive coin in the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, it holds a place of importance due to its historical ties to the post-war period and its status as a key piece in the larger Lincoln Wheat Cent collection. Whether you're a collector or an investor, this coin is a must-have for anyone serious about the world of rare coins. Thanks for joining us. Happy collecting!